Okay. Morning. I am here behind the enormous horse that is Ebony. Here with another Ebony video. Happy Luba. Well, let's start, hey? Check the mic's behaving itself. Okay. Well, what you're not going to know from the videos is that she's had a few days off. I don't know that it's affected her massively, just from leading her in and out and being around her. She doesn't seem all that bothered. She's had 2 days off. But yeah, she's been getting turnout. She's actually been going. She went out yesterday without a rug, which she loved because she's quite an itchy girl. But yeah, we'll see what she's got going on today. We've already done a little bit of warm-up, walking, because we set up the cameras together. She walked with me doing that. So we're not going to spend too long on the walking section. We've already done a bit of that, Ebs, haven't we? What I like that I'm starting to see from her is where I tell her off for something, she doesn't get quite so offended. Like there I tapped her leg and she didn't sort of get super upset. It's not that you want your horse to be lazy, but equally being asked to move a bit shouldn't cause tension. Always trotting, that's so difficult, isn't it? Because she's had a little bit of time off, my plan for today is just to do what we've been doing. No, you can't pin your ears at me. Go and trot your circles. No. Go and trot your circles. So what I want to do is just go back to what we were doing before. So that's better. There you go. Sometimes I think the whole having a grump at me it's just a habit. You know, it's just like, well, if I do this, then maybe you'll stop. And I get it. Trotting's hard. I've run on treadmills. It's boring. So it's not like I'm unsympathetic to her not wanting to do this. Don't pull on that rope. Don't pull on it. There you go. I also think we're far enough along now that sort of when she pushes on me, telling her, you can't do that. At the beginning, it didn't seem appropriate. But yeah, so the goal of today's session is just to be like, did you forget anything in those 2 days? Anything we've been working on? Has it left your mind? So for anyone that hasn't been watching, I spend quite a long time on this section. That rope is tied on a smaller horse last time. I spend quite a lot of time on this section with these long-legged horses, just getting the warm-up right. And with Ebony in particular, I like to wait till there's an expression change and like there she kind of just a little bit. I kind of want her to just soften that little bit before we move on. But the goal is not for her to have perfect movement at this point. right? We're not looking for that really interesting. Those are very much set as trotting poles, Ebs. Interesting you rush even those, hey? There you go. So yeah, the goal here is not for her to look perfect. Right? She's carrying her neck a little to the outside. She's better than she was, but she's trotting pretty lazy, let's face it, and I don't expect her at the beginning of the session to trot perfectly, right? I think that's what I'm getting at, is the purpose of this is to get the muscles warmed up. So you're trying to give her as much, like, people tend to start a session and they want the horse to look as athletic as they possibly can right from the beginning. And I find that's pretty inappropriate, really. Like, the horse is just not going to come straight out the stable and be ready to do high-level manoeuvres right out the bat. It's just not how muscles and joints work. And so I'm pretty laid back, like it's, I let her look all over the place. She doesn't need to have a nice, perfect trot or anything. We just wait. And you'll see it. Well, I don't know actually. Some of the videos you could see it, some you couldn't. You'll see when the muscles start relaxing more, because she's not holding tension through sort of there. You can really see the shaking of her side, and this sort of, she'll step slightly longer with the back leg as well, even when she's trotting lazily, because it won't feel restrictive. And I maybe know this feeling more than most because I run long distance runs. And when you start running, your muscles always feel stiff. Particularly if you've just done something athletic, I don't really want to canter, but that's alright. We'll work on that a little bit, eh? I like that she's keeping herself a little bit more elevated than she was. Okay. You can see that slightly longer stride in the back, the moving of the ribs. The neck's even starting to shake a little bit. I think it's very important to note, although I'm doing very long trot circles with her, the goal is not to trot her till she's tired, right? That's not the goal of the groundwork. It's to stretch out the muscles and warm up. Above everything else. Right, we need to talk about this long side trot. Yeah, it's not quite where I want it. I'm kind of making a bit of an assumption there. You don't want that. Yeah, no. Good. No, you're running ahead of me. There you go. Keep me shoulder to shoulder. I know. Hard to be shoulder to shoulder with that. No, don't run ahead of me. Run ahead of me. Oh, I know, it's tough. Don't get behind me either. There we go. There we go. That's what we wanted. That's more like it. and then drag behind. Let's stretch those hind legs a little bit. Front legs and shoulders. See if we can't get a bit more of a reach from you. There we go. And that was one really good step. And yeah, for anyone who hasn't been watching the videos, you'll like I get a little bit more intense here normally. We've got that sort of warm up done. Get some stronger, bigger movements going. Longer steps. Good girly. That's it. Plant those back feet. Reach with those front legs. Reach. Reach. Good girl. Good. Very good. 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 Very nice, big mare. Nice. Seems like a good place to saddle up and ride. We haven't done any backup, have we? Oh dear. I'm supposed to do backup before I do this. The other thing with groundwork is it's kind of another thought for it would be checking all of your systems are working. So that's where I should really do backup before I get on. Make sure she feels good in her backup as well. Because backup is essentially your brakes. Those isolations where we move just the front feet or just the back feet are like steering. And obviously going forward is your accelerator. So, and unless you're like me and you have driven some cars that are really dangerous, you wouldn't drive your car on the motorway if you didn't think the brakes were going to work. I think a lot of people ride their horses with iffy brakes. But I also wonder how many of those people just don't know what good brakes feel like. A bit like me in my first car, when I then got into a little sports car and put the brakes on and thrown into the front seat. Because obviously, a little sports car can stop on a dime. And there is an element of that with these guys. There's warm bloody type horses. Sorry, I lump you all into one category. Don't hate me, just do. I also lump all Western horses into one category and driving horses into another. But English bred horses do not have the same sliding stops that the Western horses do, and even the Western horses probably shouldn't do it as often as they do for their joints. Being good at something doesn't necessarily mean you should do it too much. It's very easy, I think, with horses in general, and you know, this is like a life lesson, isn't it? People, animals, dogs, goats, any living being that you love, it's very easy to, you're focusing on work, you're focusing on improving or doing something, it can be easy to forget just to spend a moment just telling them that you care about them. Part of the reason the big girlies had a few days off is because we've just lost one of our dogs. or when, well, in the process of her getting diagnosed, which has been pretty hard on the whole family, obviously. But yeah, it's important to spend those little moments, you know. You know, I'm probably never going to see this horse again once she's sold. Maybe I will, I don't know. But there's no reason for me not to spend a moment telling her she's appreciated. Huh. Come on then, big girl. Okay. Well, the girth is almost all the way tightened up, so I'm just gonna walk around, tighten that last hole, hop on, and we'll go for a ride. I don't believe from other videos the saddle is an issue for her. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for this mare. Hey. The great big ridiculous ears. What are you hearing with those? They're so big. They're like satellite dishes on your head. I know that probably seems silly and I probably could have just done that ridden, but I like walking. It's good for you. It's great, you guys can't answer me back. Tell me how much of an idiot I am. Oof, Ebbs. Yeah, I know, that's probably a little rude of me. I could have warmed you up a bit more for that. Equally, we are on a slight time crunch today, so probably should crack on, hey? Probably not a bad plan. Okie dokes. I believe a little. You get to find a horse that doesn't like that. Or at least get curious about it. You just blow into one of their nostrils. You tend to get like a, huh? That smells weird. Some of them get really fascinated by it. I'm presuming because they must get information from when they put noses together and they breathe on each other's noses. So, okay. Alright, Ebbs. Should we see what we've got going on today? Shall we? You can't eat the camera. No, you cannot. I already tried that trick once. No. Cheeky mare. Come on then, big girlie. Nope, that's a gate. Okay. What have we got going on today, Ebbs? Oof, I'm not warmed up. That's no good. I feel the warm-up issues just as much as the horses do. In particular, my lower back and shoulders. I think because I do a lot of groundwork, my legs are almost always warmed up. But then you get on and you've got to use your whole core, and I'm not, haven't done enough with that. And then I'm suddenly moving as much as the horses. It's like, oof. You lock your back when you walk, don't you? There we go. A nice big swing in your legs there, Ebs. Well, let's see what you remember. I like that you're thinking backwards, that's good. I know, these are the ponies about. Hey? That a girly. I think it's easy, particularly as like in dressage, we want the horse to be really still in the head. We don't want them to look around and see things. But I think it's easy for that to become a one-sided conversation. I found with Puff really taught me this, because Puff really hated having his head being held, having something in his mouth. He found it really upsetting. And so instead of, my goal is, instead of holding her head absolutely still, my goal is to sort of let her look, and then increasingly take control of that and say, like, I really want your head here in its exact position, and to hold it for a time, and then to let her, without letting go of the contact, but just with a change of attitude more than anything, start letting her look more. Like right now I'm sort of saying, no, don't look at the other horses, don't do it, there we go, just for a minute. I know it's tough, but hold it. I'll make an excuse to turn here that lets her look at them. So I know. Good girl. But it's finding that balance that really works for you. Evaluba, there was a change. Yeah, I know, you weren't ready for that one, were you? Not quite. Come on back. That's it. Worry less about the bit and worry more about my body. That's it. And I wouldn't say that she's particularly unsure of herself in the bit. Like Puff was really unsettled in the bit. Where I don't feel that from Ebony so much. Good. There we go. Very nice. And let's go long and low. There, girly. There we go. I'm certainly not a master of the contact yet. It's funny, isn't it? I've been working on my contact. I had a clinic with Mikey Wantonreed 4 years ago, and he said, Jamie, you're not allowed to ride out of a contact until you feel comfortable in it. And I found I didn't listen, but I just sort of went, you know what, he's right, I just need to do it until I feel comfortable with it. I'm avoiding it because I hate this. I feel like I can't do it, but the reality is I can do it, I just don't do it enough. And in the horse industry, learning a concept for 4 years is just, you're still an amateur at that point. But I'm beginning to really get my head around it. And there are things that I really, I guess because I have Arabs a lot, there are things that I picked up which I find really help. Horses that are less fussy, like Ebony's not that fussy, I could just hold the reins and she'd be fine. But she's happier because I do these things that my Arabs told me they really wanted me to do. No, where are they going? Going on a hack. We need to go on a hack. This week, it's very important. Ready, big girl? Let's see what you got. Not our best forward. The thing is like on the ground, right? Like just waiting for her to sort of settle a bit more into a rhythm and be less like all over the place. I think part of her issue is her work's been too erratic. That's it, go big. If you're going to do that, go big. Yeah, but go big. I know, you can have your head up and go short and lazy, but I'll make you lift your legs more. Or you can stretch, but you got to go long. Don't die on me. That's it. Don't drop. Don't drop. Yeah, no, being tougher on you now. Don't drop your head down. Don't do it. Good. Good girl. Now if you're going to go big and long like that, stretch your head down. Stretch your head down if you're going to go big and long. We struggle with that key, don't we, a bit? There you go, now go big strides. Oh, you want to trot lazy with your head down. I'm not going to let you do that. No way. That's just throwing your weight on the front end, isn't it? You need conservation of angular momentum. I think that's the right term anyway. So basically, centre of mass moves back as speed increases, which is why, anyway, I'm rambling. I don't really want your head that high if you're going to do that big trot. A bit longer, a little bit lower, and longer strides. That's it, good girl. Nice big long strides. You like to then throw your head up suddenly, don't you? There we go. Big long strides, keep it going. Low head, low head. Lower your head. Lower your head, big girl. That's it, and go big. Reins are kind of going like washing lines, but I'm really trying to make a contrast. Like, this is my lower your head cue. That's it. Go down a bit more. Go down a little bit more. I know. That's it, yes. Good. Keep it up. I'm asking you something quite tricky now. Woohoo! There we go. Better. That was better. Don't drop your head down. Don't do it. See, she likes to hide behind the bit and go into rollker. It's like, don't do that. Bringing your nose in is nice. We don't want it dropping. Yes. 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 Good. Just for a bit of extension and lowering of the neck. Extension. Good girly. That's better. So much better. Excuse me, sorry, Ebs. There's a girly. There's a girly. Well done, very nice. Slight lateral flexion. And the head nice and high. Slight lateral flexion. Head up. Slight lateral flexion, shorter strides. Good girl. I know it's tough. I know it's tough. Better on this side though, interesting. Good. Good, and you can go along. Good girlie. Probably should have released her onto a circle more, but... I give her a bit of free time. Why not? There's a good big girlie. Alright. Well, let's have a look at this canter again, since you're anticipating it anyway. But I want you to stay elevated this time, yeah? We're not going to let you drop into the canter and rush it. See it, not a rush. You just pop into it. There's a feeling to it, that's a rush. I could just get her to canter, by the way. There's no... She wants to do it. It's that I'm holding her up into it. There it is, yes. That was the feeling we're looking for. Now you just got to find it in the canter, hey? It's here. Needs to come over. This needs to come over. And then whoop, from the front end. From the front end. Come on, big girl. Where is it? Oh, you're all over the place with that. Come on. There it is. There it is. You're so close. Oh, man. You're just running into it. That was it. Kind of. We're on the wrong leads. That's okay. We're elevated at least. See how she wants to sort of run off with it? And it's like, don't run off with it. That's it. Want that slower start into it. And it's tricky to get because you're kind of saying go, but only a little bit. And so you kind of need to show her, like, now go long. You know, this is separate cues. You know, go forward now. Oh, we are on the correct lead. Did you change or? No, we're wrong. That feels weird, Ebs. Are you on the wrong lead in the back? Now what lead are you on? Jeez Louise. Okay. Now go forward. Really forward now. That's a girlie. Because you need to say, like, it's not that I don't want you to go forward, right? I'm happy for you to really go forward. Another lead change, interesting. Very quick change to the left. But the point is, I also want you to have a more slower, elevated canter. You obviously find that quite tricky. So avoiding the stick, just canter. Focus on what I'm asking. That's it. That's it. That's it. Good girl. Yes. Good. Oh, you had it for a stride or two there, didn't you? I want to see that on the video. See it again? No. Not running into it. She's just got into a habit, right, of just bolting into the canter. It's like just lift up into it, lift it up into it. Can't describe it better than that. You're rushing the trot and scooting out from under me. All right, canter then. Now come up. That's it. That's what we want to start with. Oh my word. Keep it up, keep it up, big girl. That's what we want to feel. Yes, now go long. Oh, what a girlie. Hey, what a girlie. That was awesome. Hey, don't bash my leg on that fence. Just because I gave you the reins for a minute. Right, try again, one more time. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's so much quicker to come now. Good. Holy moly, Ebs. That was something else, wasn't it? Whew. That took a lot of work, but it was good. Once we got there, eh? There we go. Very nice. Okay, well, my whole plan was to do 3 sections and stop 3 times, but I'm going to do the exact opposite and stop there because that was really cool and I'm out of time. So, oh, wow. Well, there was some moments in there, cowboy boots and all. It was messy. There were a few moments of that elevation we're looking for. The potential, right, that's in there. She's just kind of got into this habit of like, she scoots out from under you, right? Not she doesn't like lift up into you when she goes into canters. She sort of, it's probably easier for me to say canter and then lift, but I'd really like to be able to say like canter and have it come all at once. But that's fine. We might have to switch that up and just, I just see that my camera's